This module of the Zenith V12 carburetor looks at the fuel delivery side in order to provide the right mixture to your engine at all times. The fuel delivery is done via a series of drillings inside the body of the carburetor here, the float bowl, and those drillings are controlled by very precise jets, and what we will do is have a look at how all of those interrelate. The correct fuel and mixture finally comes out through this beak, where it is projected into the airflow through the choke and then via the throttle plate into the inlet manifold and into the engine. So everything culminates in a flow of fuel through this beak. Very, very important to make sure that this beak is intact. The first jet to look at is that which controls the idling, and this is the smallest jet on the carburetor. You can see a very tiny little hole there, and this is the jet that's most likely to get blocked if any dirt gets past your filtration system. So that is the idling jet, or slow running jet as it's often called. If we now turn the carburetor upside down, we can see the other three jets. On the V12 model, these have a jet cap that is removed, and this is where the square head of the float bowl retaining bolt is useful as a means to undo the cap. However, as you can see with this particular bolt, over 90 years of abuse, these often become next to useless. So if you're stuck, a very useful standby is the squared end of a tap, which will fit very precisely into these. So these caps are removed. The same tip about using Doughty washers applies to these. So that is the compensating jet cap. This is the main jet cap, and then on the side here is the economy jet cap. So three jets impact on the use of fuel in the carburetor. If we look at each jet in turn, so the compensating jet, all the jets are stamped. So for example, this is stamped 80, which means it's 0.8 of a millimetre, and they go in 0.05 millimetre increments on the Zenith carburetor. Compensating jet, this is the main jet. In this case it's stamped 115, so 1.15 millimetres, and goes there, and then the economy jet buried deep inside is there. So three jets, and note that these jets are both different sizes and different threads, so it is impossible to put them back in the wrong aperture. Three Zenith jets. The other element of the fuel delivery system to understand is the accelerator pump. That's this device here. So when you floor the throttle on the car, it pushes this down and creates a spurt of fuel in order to aid acceleration and prevent the car bogging down. So the accelerator pump, easy to test by simply filling the float bowl and pushing that. And then the final thing to note in its operation is that beyond this point, so you're now accelerating quite hard, you'll note the shoulder here pushes onto another plunger, and this is the plunger that takes the main jet into operation. It opens a passageway that allows the fuel to flow through the main jet and bypasses the economy jet. So that is something just to check when you're looking at your carburettor. that is how the fuel supply gets up to the beak, and then in order to reach the engine it goes through the throttle plate into the manifold and produces this nice sweet running Talbot.